such a screech. You'll shake and shudder in surprise when you hear these zombies shriek. Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul and seal your doom tonight. Spooky, scary skeletons.
How's it going, guys? Ghost Caliber here, and today it's a little bit of a story time episode. So this starts at my school, Riverside, right? And boy, do I have a lot of stories of this place. Oh god, this place. But this place kind of had a pretty big double standard. It's kind of sexist. It would be like if you were a girl, you could do no wrong, but if you were a guy, well, it sucks to be you, I guess. Because it's like that place is a supreme example of sexism. Because a boy and a girl can do the exact same thing and yet get two different punishments, you know. And to me, that's just unfair. That's not right. But that's neither here nor there. Which I might get more in depth to that system in another video, even though that video might be like 3 minutes, so that might be like a double upload day. But to the story, this day I got lied on, right? And this isn't the first time I've gotten lied on, but this probably was the most explosive one, especially with my reaction to the stuff. So it starts on a day, a normal school day. I go in and I'm trying to be on my best behavior because Trials of the Nomus, that update for Garden Warfare 2, just got on my PS4 that day. And so I was trying to be good, try to get all my work done. So when I got home, I could play the game because at least if I was doing good in school, even though my grades were bad, I probably could play the game, right? And so this girl, she was fat, she was big. We're gonna call her Kong, right? So Kong always started trying to mess with me, right? I would mess with her back because it's not like I'm not just gonna sit here and have you say all this stuff to me and not say anything back. But the difference between me and her was I would take it. She would every time I would say something back, she would go to tell the teacher. So she would come to me, start something, and go to a teacher. And that kind of annoyed me, but whatever. So one day, the same day, I'm in the bus lane because I use a bus to get to school, and there's two doors, two entrances to the school on two different sides of the building. One side of the building has a lane for people who take a bus, and the other side of the building is the lane to get into the school, which is for people who take a car and people who walk to school or like take a bike and stuff like that, right? So I'm sitting there. Kong does not take a bus. Kong drives, so she shouldn't even be on that side of the building. But that's not here nor there. So she starts coming up to me, starts trying to mess with me. I don't say anything back. So then I walk away. I walk away. I calm myself down and I walk away. Because I know if I said something, I would not hold back and I would get in trouble. And I just didn't want that day because I was hyped for this update. And when I get inside, I go to class. The teacher gets a call on her little phone that's on her desk. And all I hear is, "Ghost, go to the office." I'm like, okay. I go down to the office, and the principal says, "Ghost, sit down." I'm like, alright. Sat down. He's like, alright, you know why you're here. I'm like, no, I don't. He's like, oh, so now you're going to act dumb. I'm like, I honestly don't know what you're talking about. She said, what you said to Kong? I'm like, I didn't say anything to her. He's like, so you're telling me you didn't call her a fat whore, a hoe, a garden tool, and a boulder? I'm like, no, I didn't. They're like, okay, so now you're just gonna lie. Go to ISS. I'm like, I'm not lying, but alright. So I pick up my stuff, go to ISS. I'm sitting there, and I'm kind of mad. I'm like, she really lied on me. She really lied on me after I didn't feed into what she wanted me to do. Then they called me in again, and they said, we're going to call your parents. And I said, okay. They're like, you're still not going to own up to what you did? I'm like, no, because I didn't do anything. And then they still were like, all right, whatever, Ghost. And so they dial up my mom, and they also said, we're also calling her parents too. And I'm like, cool. Call her parents. I don't care. And I start getting disrespectful, and because I'm trying to get respectful with her, and another teacher was in the room starting to start stuff with me too, so I'm getting disrespectful with both of them because I'm not going to sit there and then just get sort of ganged up on for something I never did, right? And this is kind of my fault because if I would have just stayed quiet and explained to my mom probably wouldn't have got mad at me for disrespecting the teacher because I did get whooped after I went home. That's because I disrespected the teachers. Which, if I didn't disrespect the teacher, I wouldn't have gotten whooped. I probably still would have gotten in trouble with the school because they had no proof. They had no witnesses. They had nothing, right? If I would have had one witness, I wouldn't have gotten in trouble. She wouldn't have gotten in trouble. And that's another thing the school does. So if a guy lies to one of the principals, they get in trouble. But if a girl lies to one of the principals, nothing happens. Which kind of dumb, if you ask me. But again. So my mom calls. They call my mom. And I'm talking to her. I'm like, hey, Mom. And then they say, tell her what happened. I'm like, all right, Mom. So basically, this girl lied on me. And then they're like, no, that she didn't. I'm like, Mom, they lied on me, saying that I called her these things that I didn't really say. And so the teacher tells her, right? She's like, oh, yeah, so your son went over to Kong and said, you're a fat whore, a hoe, and a garden tool, and called her a boulder. And then my mom's like, did you really say that thing? I'm like, no. And then she said, he was also disrespecting me and the other teacher. And then she said, did you do that? I'm like, yeah. They're like, why would you do that? I'm like, because they're disrespecting me. Like, they're acting like I did this stuff with no proof or anything like that. So she says, just wait till you get home. She's like, just wait till you get home. The belt's going to be waiting for you. I'm like, man. I took a big old sigh of relief. And then I asked them after my mom hung up. I'm like, are you going to tell her to pick me up or something? And they're like, no. You're not getting suspended for the whole day. You're getting 2 days of ISS, not counting today. And I'm like, oh, bogus. This is bogus. So I storm out of that room. They're like, hey, don't open my door like that. Don't slam it. I'm like, whatever, bro. So I'm sitting in there. I'm low-key mad. Man. And then I'm just stomping. Like, I'm like tapping my foot. Like, I'm basically smashing the desk. I was in 4th grade. And she looks at me with a sly remark. Like, she says a sly remark. She's like, how does it feel eating ISS? I'm like, how does it feel weighing 600 pounds? You fat B word, right? And then she looks at me with the dumbest look on her face. Like, did you really just say that to me? I'm like, yeah, and I'd say it 100 more times to your fat, like, A word, right? So, at this point, yes, I'm swearing at her because she lied, got me in trouble, and essentially is the reason why I disrespected the teachers and why I am about to get beat when I get home. And so I'm basically mad, so I say that stuff to her, and when I get home, I basically just accept my fate. Moral of the story, always have a witness and try to keep your temper in check. Because if I would have done those things, definitely wouldn't have gotten whooping. Definitely would have gotten into the office or anything like that. And I would probably be laughing in Kong's face. Anyways, like, subscribe to join the Ghost Army. Share the videos out. That's the best thing you do for the channel. I need exposure, try to get this channel big and stuff. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.